You are welcome to another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. R. Kelly's lead attorney Jennifer Bonjean came to the Chicago appeal hearing charged up with killer points, addressing the rather long 240-month sentence that is above the standard guidelines range, and the ignored statutes of limitations which could have worked as a perfect safeguard from indictment on several charges for defendant R. Kelly. Ms. Bonjean actually did so well outlining her concerns, and the appeal judge couldn't agree more when she actually did express concerns that the trial judge may not be ready to embrace the truth, and may instead prefer to punish R. Kelly for appealing this case. One important fact however which people expected Bonjean to outline that she didn't is the matter of the VHS tape which was presented in court against R. Kelly, and that was supposed to be declared inadmissible for use as viable evidence. The laws that govern video evidence presented in court suggest that for it to be admissible, it ought to satisfy certain important conditions. Most importantly though, the chain of custody for such video evidence must be known and complete. And this means the source of the original copy must be declared. When it comes to R. Kelly's case however, the chain of custody remains incomplete and unknown largely because the first known holder of the tape, who goes by the name journalist Jim Godus, until today has continued to claim that the tape was delivered to his mailbox by an unknown person. And this leaves the chain of custody incomplete, which should have seen the Chicago court declare the tape evidence inadmissible. From among the comments on our previous video releases, some supporters of R. Kelly are seeking to understand why R. Kelly's attorney Jennifer Bonjean left out this argument that should have disqualified the videotape evidence presented by government. It is important however to note that Ms. Bonjean did speak on the issue of the tapes when she clarified that despite playing them to entertain the jury and the trial judge for a few minutes, nothing from the images that were seen qualifies to be called CP. And this alone disqualifies the tape evidence the government and its team of accusers spent the past years bickering about. Before looking into the fact that the chain of custody was incomplete, her main focus was on the original purpose of the tapes, which was to prove CP, something at which the government failed miserably. It's common knowledge that in fact the tape evidence did not have a complete chain of custody, and until today this has not been established. However, the most appropriate way for Ms. Bonjean to approach this was first to counteract the facts the tapes were meant to prove before court. Contesting its admissibility can be done if her current demands are ignored by the appeal court, which we do not expect to happen. It's so weird to see that the people who made it their daily job to fight R. Kelly and orchestrate the destruction of his 30-year career, such as controversial journalist Jim Godus, were not ready to take full accountability of the evidence they presented to the feds, likely because they knew that the tapes did not display any form of CP in the first place. There is nothing else apart from this that can explain the cat and mouse behavior whenever Gates was asked where he got the tapes from. An anonymous sender dropped them off in my mailbox, he always answered. But then he managed to get them from his mailbox, take them to his house and watch them, and after he had entertained himself, he then took them to the Daily Sun offices where he worked and edited out the scenes he felt would be convincing for the feds to watch, duplicate them and delivered an edited copy to the feds. What an incomplete story. The part he does not tell us is how whoever delivered them to his mailbox must have been involved in the filming, and the fact that he knew there was in fact a possibility that the tapes did not contain any form of CP as alleged. By doing this therefore and choosing to conceal important information from the feds, we can conclude that indeed journalist Jim Godus attempted to mislead the justice system, and in the process broke the law. It is because of his choice to be deceitful and to keep the authorities in the dark that until today we do not know who filmed those videos and what their intention was. Even though they have tried to frame R. Kelly with endless CP charges, how are we to prove that he filmed video content without a complete chain of custody to know how this data moved from him to reach journalist Jim Godus? To make matters even worse, when Jim Godus was asked to come to court and testify, in combination to the authorities refusing to subpoena him, he himself showed no interest and adamantly refused to testify. This could mean that he was well aware the tapes he provided the feds with may have not contained CP in the first place. If he did know this, however, It could mean that the whole case from indictment and trial was premised on malicious intent and the desire to frame R. Kelly as opposed to finding justice for the alleged victims. And this is a form of prejudice that could not allow the court to remain objective, not to imagine guilt before trial. In fact, any reasonable whistleblower who took the initiative to watch a tape from an unknown sender without informing the police about it first, then had the guts to transport it all the way to his office where he allegedly took time to edit it and replicate the same into copies before issuing a single replica to the feds would have shown up in court and given his testimony. His refusal to appear before court speaks volumes and is proof he knew there was something wrong with his trophy of a tape. Not mentioning the illegal activities he may have been involved in himself meddling with the tape. According to Malik, just how can the very person who brought a tape to court fail to appear before the jury to defend it? Or at least to explain its source? There was always something funny when it came to the said tape evidence. And it appears the very person that gave it to the feds already knew there was something fishy about it. I am glad, according to Bonjean's analysis of the trial transcript, she concludes there was no such thing as CP content on this bogus piece of evidence with no known source. And if this is the case, then this tape should be regarded a desperate attempt by government to prejudice R. Kelly. If you dare bring a tape to court, it better be authentic and accusatory to the defendant, because when it fails to implicate him, it then becomes an attempt to prejudice the accused. Remember that even if the jury failed to find CP on this tape evidence, the idea of viewing it alone was enough to cause the team to think negatively of the R&B king, and this is the root cause of prejudice. According to Cobb, after listening to the Chicago appeal judge speak to Bonjean with concerns that the trial judge may choose to punish R. Kelly for appealing his case, I wonder why he would even want to do this. R. Kelly has certainly been punished more than enough, and it would do everyone good if he is set free. We have all seen the injustice against him. Just how many laws does the government want to break before they can quit abusing R. Kelly's rights? This impunity is way to another level and must be stopped before our statute is overthrown. According to Solis, this injustice is something that actually does happen all the time. Not only to celebrities but to all people of color when they are brought before the courts of law. These judges need to be given a forced leave in all such cases they have handled reviewed. The justice system has always been this crooked and corrupt in such circumstances. All the same, R. Kelly ought to keep his head up, for we as fans are praying for him and for his much respected attorney Jennifer Bonjean. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.